Now, you know all these mayors. I'm going to ask you a little bit about your experience of San Francisco. I'm going to mention some mayors.
Yes.
And I'd like to know Rose Pak's view, okay? So, Joseph Alioto Sr., do you remember him?
Yes, of course.
And what would you say about Joe?
Well, Joe have his little mafia cabinet, always just dealt with them, you know, and the unions.
He was very strong with the unions.
Yeah, that's the extent of it.
Our next mayor, George Moscone.
George have the heart and never had enough time. And George make a decision, always checking off with a whole bunch of his friends, you know, the other legislators, whether they're the Burtons or Willie Brown.
We'll get to Willie.
Yeah.
Dianne Feinstein.
Dianne Feinstein is typical Secret Heart product, so I can ID with her.
Okay.
Very trim and very proper.
Yeah. And serious. She was a serious mayor.
Very serious, good heart. She is a typical physician's daughter and a physician's wife. But she could be very, very stubborn. And Diane's also very dogmatic, still is.
Okay.
She has no tolerance for scandal.
Art Agnos.
Art Agnos is Papa knows best. Very condescending.
You thought so?
Yes. Art has no tolerance for difference of opinion.
Really? But
Yeah.
he comes from more of a community background than
Yes.
Diane say, or...
But he's very condescending. That's why he lost it by such narrow margin.
Yeah.
If any of those groups, if it weren't holier than thou,
Yeah.
you know...
They could have put him back into office.
Yes.
And then he lost to what? Frank Jordan.
Frank Jordan. Frank Jordan just blissfully went through 4 years. He never took care of the cops that was serving with him for 25 years.
Right.
He never would have thought to bring them to a ball game, invite his colleagues. Frank is for Frank.
Now we come to Willie Brown.
Willie Brown is big tent approach mayor.
Yes.
Very forgiving, otherwise he couldn't have lasted this long.
Right.
However, I told him figuratively and literally, he has bad eyesight. He's not very good judge of character.
My impression is Willie can get along with anybody that he wants to get along with.
Willie, no matter how obnoxious you are, he always remembered the dignity of the office that he held. And I know for a fact that, you know, there's some people, he came to me to help somebody. And I said, are you kidding me? Why am I supposed to help? This guy's a moron. He did this. He'll go, Miss Rose, I would be so consumed with hatred and so consumed with getting even. You can't live like that.
Yeah, I think he's right, actually.
And so he said, hey, it's politics. Forget it. Just move on.
Okay, Gavin Newsom.
Gavin Newsom is got the biggest ego. You know, I don't think California is big enough for it.
Did you work well with him? Did he want your help in talking to the community or in certain projects?
I don't think he really cared much about doing anything for the city. The same way I don't think he cares much about the state of California. It's whatever gets him to the next stop. Yeah.
Jeez. And finally, Ed Lee.
Ed Lee, I have been heartbroken about it.
I want you to talk about that because some people say you and Willie Brown sort of made him mayor or advanced his candidacy.
Well, let me put it this way. You know, he's the hardest working guy. He's very decent guy. And he has all the luck in the world, too, you know, if you think about it.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
understand.
The economy, everything.
It's better to be lucky than smart.
Yes. But he has kept every single one of Gavin Newsom's staff. He has not brought in anybody
That's interesting.
Yeah, that is weird. So they're all pushing the same agenda that Gavin Newsom was. His nature is to get along with people, friendly with people.
Yes.
But because the staff is so bad that they don't have the rapport with the board, they could do a lot more.
Okay.
And he's not. He's afraid of his own shadow. He hasn't named any Chinese American to any important position or anything. I think he's bending backward to show that he is the mayor of the city, not the mayor of Chinese Americans. So that means you're very insecure in your own skin.